This is my true story. At 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, my phone buzzed with a security alert. Someone was trying to unlock my car in my driveway. I watched the live feed from my bed, heart pounding. A figure stood by my driver's door, trying key after key. When they finally looked up on my security camera, I recognized the face immediately. It was someone who should never have had access to my car keys. Someone I trusted completely. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you're watching from and subscribe so this story reaches everyone who needs to hear it. 6 months ago, I installed a comprehensive security system around my house in Riverside, California. Ring cameras, motion sensors, the whole setup. I'm David Chun, 52 years old, software engineer at a major tech company. I've lived alone since my divorce 3 years ago. My ex-wife Amanda remarried quickly, moved to Portland. We have one son, Marcus, 28, who lives about 40 minutes away in Anaheim with his girlfriend Sophia. I installed the security system after a neighbor's house was broken into. Not paranoia, just practical thinking. My Tesla Model 3 sat in the driveway, expensive enough to worry about. The cameras covered every angle. Front door, back door, driveway, garage entrance. All connected to my phone with real-time alerts. That Tuesday, I'd gone to bed around 11. Normal evening. I'd spoken to Marcus earlier that day. He called asking if I could lend him $5,000 for a business opportunity. Some cryptocurrency investment his friend was running. I'd said I needed to think about it. Marcus had sounded disappointed, but understanding. We talked about getting dinner that weekend. The phone buzz jolted me awake. I grabbed it from my nightstand, squinting at the bright screen. Security alert. Motion detected at front driveway. 3:47 a.m. I opened the app. Live video feed appeared. My driveway, illuminated by the motion-activated floodlight. And there, standing by my car's driver's door, was a figure in dark clothing. Hooded sweatshirt, jeans, face partially visible in the light. My heart rate spiked immediately. I sat up in bed, fully awake now. The figure was trying something at my car door. I zoomed in on the phone screen. They were holding what looked like keys, trying different keys in the lock. My Tesla doesn't use traditional keys. It uses a key fob and phone app, but the doors still have physical backup keyholes. This person was systematically trying different keys. I should have called 911 immediately. Instead, I watched, frozen. Something about the figure's movements seemed familiar. The way they stood, slightly hunched. The nervous glance around every few seconds. Then the person looked directly up at the camera. The floodlight caught their face fully. My breath stopped in my chest. Marcus. My son Marcus. I stared at the screen, not believing what I was seeing. My son, at 3:47 in the morning, trying to break into my car with what looked like a ring of keys. Why would he need to break in? He had his own key fob. I'd given it to him 2 years ago for emergencies. Unless he'd lost it. Unless he didn't want me to know he was taking the car. Unless something else was happening that I didn't understand. On the screen, Marcus tried another key. It didn't work. He looked frustrated, glanced at the house, then back at the car. He tried another key, then another. My hand moved to call him, then stopped. If I called, he'd know I was watching. He'd know I'd seen him. And whatever was happening here, whatever reason he had for sneaking to my house at 3:47 a.m. to steal my car, I needed to understand it first. I took screenshots. The app automatically saved video footage, but I wanted immediate evidence. Photo after photo. Marcus's face clearly visible. The timestamp. The location. Everything documented. He tried 2 more keys. Neither worked. Then he stepped back from the car, pulled out his phone, and made a call. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but his body language showed agitation. Pacing, freehand gesturing. A short conversation, maybe 30 seconds. Then he hung up. He looked at my house again. Longer this time. His face in the camera light showed something I'd never seen before. Not the son I knew. Something harder, more desperate. He walked to the front door. I heard the sound through the house. Keys jingling. The front door handle turning. He had keys to my house. Of course he did. I'd given him a full set years ago. My son, my only child, had unrestricted access to my home. And now he was using that access at 3:47 in the morning while I watched from my bedroom. The front door opened, closed quietly. I heard footsteps in the entryway, moving slowly, carefully. Try not to wake me. I sat in my bed in complete darkness. Phone in my hand, showing the empty driveway now. My son was inside my house, in the middle of the night, after failing to steal my car. The footsteps moved toward the kitchen. I heard a drawer open. Kitchen junk drawer where I kept spare keys, old electronics, random items. Searching sounds. Things being moved around carefully. My bedroom was upstairs. The kitchen was directly below. I could track his movement by sound. Another drawer. The closet near the garage door opening. He was looking for something specific. My car keys. The key fob I kept on the charging station by the garage door. I heard him find it. A small sound of satisfaction. Then footsteps moving back toward the front door. Quick now, no longer careful about noise. He had what he came for. The front door opened. Closed. I moved to my bedroom window, staying back from the glass. Watched Marcus walk to my car. This time he had the key fob. The Tesla's lights flashed as it unlocked. He opened the driver's door and got in. The engine made no sound. Electric motor. But the reverse lights came on. My car backed out of the driveway. Marcus drove away down the dark street. I stood at my window, phone still in my hand, watching my taillights disappear. My son had just stolen my car. Not borrowed it. Not asked to use it. Stolen it. At 3:47 in the morning. Using keys he'd taken from inside my house after failing to use duplicate keys he'd apparently made or obtained somehow. This wasn't a mistake. This was an impulse. This was planned. Premeditated. My son had come to my house in the middle of the night with the specific intention of taking my car without my knowledge. The question burning in my mind wasn't what he'd done. I'd watched him do it. The question was why. I checked my phone. The Ring app had recorded everything. The driveway footage, motion detected and saved automatically. I had clear video of Marcus trying keys, making the phone call, entering my house, leaving with my car. I also noticed something else. When I opened the recording from earlier that day, there was another clip. 2:15 p.m. motion detected at front door. I clicked it. Marcus letting himself into my house. I'd been at work. He walked inside, looked around casually, then moved out of the camera's view toward the kitchen. The video clip ended after 2 minutes of no further motion at the front door. But he'd been inside my house yesterday afternoon while I was at work. The junk drawer where I kept spare items. He'd probably been searching for spare car keys then. When he didn't find any, he'd come back in the middle of the night to take the key fob directly. My hand started shaking. Not from fear, from the realization of what this meant. My son had planned this. Had scouted my house. Had attempted theft in stages. This wasn't desperation. This was calculation. I sat back down on my bed. 4:03 a.m. I opened my text messages. Should I text Marcus? Ask him where he was? Confront him? The message would show I was awake at 4 a.m., which might seem suspicious. Or would he even care? I opened the Tesla app on my phone instead. Every Tesla owner has an app connected to their car. It shows location, battery status, everything. I clicked on my Model 3. The car was moving, heading south on a 91 freeway. Current speed, 78 miles per hour. Battery, 86%. I could track it in real time. Could see exactly where Marcus was taking my stolen vehicle. I watched the little icon move along the freeway. Riverside to Corona to Anaheim, toward his apartment. Except the car didn't stop at his apartment. It continued south, past Anaheim into Santa Ana, then toward Costa Mesa. At 4:31 a.m., the car stopped. I zoomed in on the map. Industrial area in Costa Mesa, near the harbor. Warehouses, shipping facilities, not residential. The car sat motionless for 7 minutes. Then it started moving again. North now, back toward Anaheim. At 5:02 a.m., it finally stopped at an address I recognized. Marcus's apartment complex. I took screenshots of the entire route. The timeline. The stops. Everything documented. Sleep was impossible. I stayed awake, watching the car's location icon. It didn't move again. At 6:30 a.m., I showered and dressed for work. Tuesday morning, normal routine. Except nothing was normal. At 7:45 a.m., my phone rang. Marcus. I stared at it. Let it ring 3 times before answering. Hey, Marcus. Hey, Dad. His voice sounded normal. Casual. Hope I didn't wake you. I know it's early. I'm already up, getting ready for work. What's going on? So, this is kind of embarrassing, but my car broke down last night. Won't start this morning. I have a really important meeting at 10, and I was wondering if I could borrow your Tesla for a few hours. I'll bring it back tonight. The lie was so smooth, so practiced, like he'd rehearsed it. Your car broke down? I kept my voice neutral. Yeah, I think it's a battery. I called AAA, but they can't get here until this afternoon. This meeting's really important, Dad. Potential client for my consulting work. Could really use the help. Marcus had been doing freelance business consulting for the past year. Or at least, that's what he'd told me. I sent him money occasionally when he said clients were slow to pay. Where are you now? I asked. At home. At the apartment. Sophia left for work already. I'm stuck here without a car. He was lying. Standing in his apartment, my stolen car parked outside, lying directly to my face through the phone. My son, whom I'd raised, whom I'd trusted completely, was lying to me without hesitation. What time do you need it by? I heard myself say. Could you drop it off around 9? That would give me time to get to the meeting. Sure, I'll bring it over. Thanks, Dad. You're the best. I really appreciate this. After we hung up, I sat in my kitchen with cold coffee. My son had stolen my car 5 hours ago, driven it somewhere at 4:30 in the morning, parked it at his apartment, and was now calling to ask to borrow it, pretending his own car had broken down. Why? What was in Costa Mesa that required my car specifically? Why not just ask to borrow it yesterday? Why the elaborate theft and lie? I pulled up my security footage again, watched the whole sequence from 3:47 a.m. Marcus trying keys. The phone call he'd made outside. His face when he looked at the camera. I zoomed in on that moment. His expression enhanced the image on my phone as much as possible. He looked scared. Not guilty, scared. Like he was under pressure. Like someone was forcing him into this. The phone call. I went back to that part of the footage. Marcus on the phone, agitated, gesturing. The call lasted 28 seconds, according to the timestamp. Who had he called at 3:47 a.m.? Who was he reporting to when the keys didn't work? I opened my laptop and logged into my cellular account. Family plan. Marcus was still on my phone plan, had been since college. I pulled up the detail call logs. Found his number. Scrolled to last night. 3:47 a.m. outgoing call. 28 seconds. To a number I didn't recognize. 714 area code. Orange County. I called my office and told them I'd be working from home today. Then I got in my Honda Accord, my backup car, and drove toward Anaheim. At 8:55 a.m., I parked down the street from Marcus's apartment complex. Far enough to not be obvious, close enough to watch. My Tesla was in the parking lot. Spot 47, Marcus's assigned space. At 9:03 a.m., Marcus came out of his building. He walked to my Tesla, unlocked it with the key fob he'd stolen from my house, got in and drove away. I followed him, kept 3 cars back. Basic surveillance, nothing fancy. The Tesla headed south again. Same route as last night. 91 freeway to 55 south, toward Costa Mesa. The morning traffic was heavier now, easier to follow without being noticed. Marcus drove exactly the speed limit. Careful, no sudden moves. At 9:34 a.m., he took the same exit as last night, headed into the industrial area near the harbor. He pulled into a parking lot behind a large warehouse. The building looked legitimate. Sign on the front, Pacific Imports and Exports. Loading docks, semi-trucks, normal business activity. I parked across the street. Watched. Marcus got out of my car and walked toward a side entrance. Before he reached it, the door opened. A man came out. Tall, maybe 40 years old, wearing expensive clothes. Suit, no tie. They talked for a moment. The man handed Marcus something. An envelope. Marcus took it, said something, gestured toward my car. The man looked at the Tesla, nodded, then went back inside. Marcus returned to my car, sat in the driver's seat for a full minute, just sitting there. Then he opened the envelope. I couldn't see details from my position, but his body language showed relief. He pulled out his phone, made a call, short conversation. Then he started the car and drove away. I didn't follow immediately. Instead, I got out of my Honda and walked toward the warehouse. The front entrance had a directory. Pacific Imports and Exports, Suite 100. 3 other businesses listed. import-export operations, a freight forwarding company, a customs brokerage. I took a photo of the directory. Then I walked around the building. The loading docks were active. Workers moving pallets, forklifts operating. Everything looked normal, legitimate. But something was wrong. Why would Marcus need to bring my specific car here twice in 12 hours? What was in that envelope? Who was the man in the expensive suit? I drove back home. Marcus would probably return the Tesla soon, make up some story about his meeting going well. I needed to be there. Needed to act like I knew nothing. At 2:17 p.m., my doorbell rang. I opened the front door. Marcus stood there, smiling, holding my key fob. "Hey, Dad. Thanks again for letting me borrow the car. Meeting went great. Good to hear. How'd it go?" "Really positive. Think I might land this client." He handed me the key fob. "Your car's in the driveway. I filled up the battery for you. Teslas don't need filling up at gas stations, but I let it slide." "Thanks, Marcus." "No problem. Hey, about that $5,000 I asked for yesterday. Any chance you've thought about it? The investment opportunity closes at the end of the week." There it was. The real reason for the visit. Not just returning the car. Another ask for money. "I'm still thinking about it," I said. "These cryptocurrency things make me nervous." "Dad, it's not really cryptocurrency. It's more like blockchain technology investment. Really safe. My friend's already made $30,000 in 3 months." "What friend?" "Guy I know from college. Trevor. He's really smart about this stuff." "I thought you said it was your friend running the investment." Marcus paused. "Just for a second. Trevor's partner is running it." Trevor introduced me. "Look, I get that you're cautious. Just let me know by Friday, okay? I don't want to miss this." After he left, I checked the Tesla. Walked around it completely. Opened every door, the trunk, the front storage compartment. Everything looked normal. No damage, nothing missing, nothing added. Except the car had 91% battery. Same as when Marcus took it. He hadn't charged it at all. Another small lie in a growing pile. I checked the Tesla's trip history in the app. The car kept logs of every trip. I opened the data. Last night's journey appeared. My house to Costa Mesa to Marcus's apartment. This morning, Marcus's apartment to Costa Mesa, short stop, then back to my house. But there was something else. A third trip. Yesterday afternoon, 2:47 p.m. From my house to Costa Mesa and back. 32 minutes total. The same time Marcus had let himself into my house, according to the ring footage. He hadn't just been looking for spare keys. He'd found the Tesla key fob and taken the car. A test run, checking if I would notice, if the car security would alert me somehow. When nothing happened, when I didn't call him or mention it, he'd become confident enough to take it again last night. Except last night, he tried to do it without me knowing he'd ever been inside the house. Used duplicate keys he'd somehow obtained. Only when those didn't work did he resort to entering the house and taking the key fob directly. This was bigger than borrowing a car without permission. This was systematic, planned. And the man at the warehouse, the envelope, the repeated trips, Marcus was involved in something. I made a decision. I needed information. Real information, not speculation. I called a number I hadn't used in years. Jerry Walsh, private investigator. We'd met through work, a corporate case involving employee theft. Jerry was professional, discreet, and thorough. David Chun. Jerry's voice came through warm. "Been a while. What can I do for you?" "I need to hire you. Family matter. Confidential. Of course. Come by the office tomorrow morning. We'll talk." That night, I barely slept. I kept watching the ring footage. Marcus's face in the floodlight. The desperate expression. The phone call to the unknown number. The envelope from the man at the warehouse. What had my son gotten himself into? Wednesday morning, I sat in Jerry Walsh's office in downtown Riverside. Small space, organized chaos. File cabinets, computer equipment, coffee maker that had seen better days. "Tell me what's going on," Jerry said, notepad ready. I showed him everything. The ring footage from 3:47 a.m. The Tesla tracking data. The warehouse visits. The screenshots from my phone logs. The mysterious phone number Marcus had called. Jerry watched the videos twice. Made notes. "Your son's involved in something he's not telling you about. I need to know what." The warehouse is a good starting point. Pacific Imports and Exports. I can run background on the company, find out who owns it, what they actually do. The phone number your son called, I could track that down too. Give me 48 hours. How much? For basic background checks and surveillance? $1,500 for the first 2 days. If it gets more complex, we'll discuss. I wrote him a check. One more thing. I don't want my son to know I'm investigating him. Jerry nodded. Standard procedure. He won't hear it from me. I left Jerry's office feeling both relief and guilt. I was hiring a private investigator to spy on my own son. But what choice did I have? Marcus was lying to me, stealing from me, involved in something at that warehouse. I need to know what. The next 2 days passed slowly. I went to work, came home, maintained normal routine. Marcus texted me Thursday asking about the 5,000 again. I told him I was still deciding. He responded with disappointment, but understanding. Friday afternoon, Jerry called. Can you come to the office? About information you need to see in person. I drove straight there. Jerry had files spread across his desk. Photos, printed documents, handwritten notes. Sit down, he said. His tone was serious. This is more complicated than a kid borrowing his dad's car without permission. He opened the first file. Pacific Imports and Exports. Legitimate business on paper. Been operating for 6 years. Imports furniture, electronics, textiles from Asia. Owner of record is a company called Harbor Holdings, LLC, which is owned by another LLC. Shell companies nested inside shell companies. It took some digging, but I found the actual person at the top. He slid a photo across the desk. The man I'd seen at the warehouse. Expensive suit, confident posture. Vincent Kong, age 43, born in South Korea, naturalized U.S. citizen. On the surface, he's a successful businessman. Import-export operations, some real estate holdings. But Vincent has another business that's not on any official paperwork. Jerry opened another file. He runs a high-end car theft ring. Very sophisticated. They don't steal random cars off the street. They target specific vehicles. Luxury models, electric vehicles, cars with specific features. Then they ship them overseas. Mostly to China and Southeast Asia, where these cars sell for double or triple their U.S. value. My stomach dropped. My car. Your Tesla. Model 3, relatively new, high-end features. Worth maybe $50,000 a year. In China? 90, 100,000. Maybe more. Marcus is helping him steal cars? Jerry's expression darkened. It's worse than that. Vincent runs what we call a recruitment operation. He finds young people who are desperate for money. Students with debt, freelancers who can't find steady work, people in financial trouble. He offers them quick cash for simple tasks. Borrow your friend's car for an hour. Bring it to this address. We'll pay you $2,000. Seems easy, seems harmless. He pulled out another document. But once they do it once, Vincent owns them. He has proof they participated in car theft. If they try to back out, he threatens to turn them in to the police. Or worse, he threatens their families. It's coercion, extortion, and car theft all wrapped together. I felt cold. You think Marcus is trapped in this? I know he is. I ran background on your son. He's got credit card debt. About $47,000. Mostly accumulated over the last year. His freelance consulting work? It's barely covering his rent. The $5,000 he's been asking you for? That's probably a payment to Vincent or one of Vincent's people. Jerry slid another photo across. This is Trevor Massaro, Marcus's college friend he mentioned. Trevor works for Vincent. He's a recruiter, finds vulnerable people, and brings them into the operation. He brought your son in. The photo showed a young man, early 30s, casual clothes. Friendly face. The kind of person you trust. When did Marcus start? I asked. Based on what I've found, about 4 months ago. Trevor probably approached him with a small job. Easy money. Marcus did it, got paid, thought it was a one-time thing. But Vincent doesn't do one time. He probably has video of Marcus delivering a stolen car. Proof of crime. Now Marcus is stuck. He keeps doing jobs to either pay off debt to Vincent or because he's being threatened. I thought about Marcus's expression in the security footage. The fear. The desperation. He's scared. He should be. Vincent Kong is not someone to mess with. The FBI has a file on him, but they've never made anything stick. He's careful. Uses people like your son as buffers. If someone gets caught, it's the kid who goes to jail, not Vincent. What about the phone number Marcus called at 3:47 a.m.? Jerry checked his notes. Burner phone, registered to a fake name. But based on call patterns, I believe it belongs to either Vincent or one of his lieutenants. When your son couldn't get into the Tesla with the duplicate keys, he called his handler to report the problem. They probably told him to go inside and get the real key fob. Everything clicked into place. Marcus hadn't planned this theft on his own. He'd been sent to steal my car, given duplicate keys that didn't work, called his handler when he failed, been ordered to enter my house and take the key fob directly. The envelope, I said. The man at the warehouse handed Marcus an envelope. Payment. Probably 2 or 3,000 cash. Or it could have been documents. Vincent sometimes makes his runners transport paperwork related to the shipping operations. Either way, your son's being used as a courier and a car thief. I sat back in my chair. My son was a criminal. Not by choice initially, but by circumstance and bad decisions. And now he was trapped in something that could send him to federal prison. What do I do? I asked. Jerry closed the files. You have several options. First, you could go to the police. Show them the footage, explain what's happening. They might be able to help Marcus, especially if he cooperates against Vincent. But there's risk. Marcus has committed actual crimes. Breaking into your house, stealing your car. Even if he's coerced, he could still face charges. What's option 2? Confront Marcus directly. Show him you know everything. Give him a chance to come clean and figure out how to get out of Vincent's operation. Risk there's Marcus might panic. Or he might tell Vincent you know, which could make you a target. Option 3. Work with me to build a case against Vincent that protects your son. We gather evidence, document everything, and when we have enough, we approach the FBI. We position Marcus as a cooperating witness rather than a perpetrator. It's the safest route for him, but it takes time and there's no guarantee. I thought about Marcus as a child, 7 years old, missing his front tooth, laughing at my jokes. Teenager, awkward and brilliant, teaching himself to code. Young adult, graduating college, full of dreams. And now this. Trapped, scared, stealing from his own father. How long would option 3 take? I asked. Couple of months, maybe. We need to document the operation, identify multiple victims, show a pattern. The FBI won't move on just your son's involvement. They want Vincent. Start option 3, I said. But I'm also doing option 2. I'm talking to Marcus. Jerry nodded slowly. Be careful. If Vincent thinks you're a threat, he might escalate. I'm not letting my son sink deeper into this. I'm pulling him out. Saturday morning, I texted Marcus. Can you come over today? Need to talk to you about something important. He responded 20 minutes later. Sure. What's up? Just come over around 11. The doorbell rang at 10:58 a.m. Marcus stood on my front step, trying to look casual, but his eyes showed worry. He knew. Some instinct told him this wasn't a normal conversation. Hey, Dad. He came inside. What did you want to talk about? I led him to my living room. Gestured to the couch. He sat. I remained standing. Marcus, I need you to be completely honest with me. You're in trouble, and I need to know everything so I can help you. His face went pale. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone, opened the Ring app, played the footage from 3:47 a.m. Tuesday morning. Marcus trying keys on my car, looking up at the camera, entering my house, leaving with my key fob, driving away in my Tesla. He watched it without speaking. When it finished, he stared at his hands. I know about Vincent Kong, I said quietly. I know about Pacific Imports and Exports. I know about Trevor. I know about the car theft ring. I know you're trapped in something you can't get out alone. Marcus's shoulders started shaking. Then he was crying. Not quiet tears. Deep, broken sobs. 28 years old, sitting on my couch, crying like he'd done as a child. Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I sat down next to him, put my hand on his shoulder. Tell me everything. From the beginning. It took him 10 minutes to compose himself enough to speak. Then the story came out in fragments. Trevor had approached him 5 months ago. Knew about Marcus's financial troubles, the credit card debt from failed business ventures. Offered him a simple job. Borrow a friend's Mercedes for an afternoon. Drive it to a warehouse. Get paid $3,000. Marcus had done it. Desperate for money. It seemed victimless. The friend got the car back, undamaged. Marcus got paid. Easy. But then Trevor came back with another job. And another. Each time, Marcus got paid, but the jobs got riskier. Cars from people he barely knew. Longer periods of time. More questions about where the cars were going. Then Vincent got involved. Called Marcus to a meeting. Showed him video footage of Marcus delivering stolen cars. Proof of felony theft. "You work for me now," Vincent had said. "Or this footage goes to the police and your father." The threat wasn't just prison. Vincent had researched Marcus's family. Knew about me, my business, my assets. "If you don't cooperate, we'll make sure your father pays for your mistakes." So Marcus kept working, delivering cars, running errands. Each job deepening his involvement. The $47,000 in credit card debt? Part of it was legitimate business expenses. Part of it was money Vincent claimed Marcus owed for protection, for not turning him in, for letting him keep working instead of disappearing. "The $5,000 I asked you for," Marcus said, voice hollow. "That's what Vincent says I owe him for this week. If I don't pay, he said he'd send people to your house. Said he'd make sure you got hurt, and I'd know it was my fault." I listened to everything. Didn't interrupt. Let him empty himself of months of fear and lies. "Why didn't you come to me sooner?" I asked when he finished. "Because I'm ashamed. Because I got myself into this. Because I didn't want you to know what a failure I am." He looked at me with red eyes. "I stole your car, Dad. From your driveway. While you were sleeping. What kind of son does that? A son who's scared. A son who made mistakes and doesn't know how to fix them. I can't fix this. Vincent won't let me go. I know too much. I've been to the warehouse too many times. If I try to leave, he'll either turn me in or something worse." I pulled out the files Jerry had given me. Spread them on a coffee table. Photos of Vincent, Trevor, the warehouse, shipping documents, evidence of the car theft ring. "I've been investigating this for 3 days," I said. "I know everything, and we're going to fix it together." Marcus looked at the files in shock. "How did you?" "I hired a private investigator. I watched you drive to the warehouse Tuesday morning. I saw Vincent hand you an envelope. I've been documenting everything since he took my car Tuesday night." "Dad, you don't understand. Vincent has connections. If he finds out you're investigating him, then we move fast. I've been working with the investigator to build a case. We're going to approach the FBI. You're going to cooperate fully. Tell them everything. Every car, every delivery, every threat. In exchange, they'll offer you protection and reduced charges. I'll go to prison. Maybe, maybe not. If you cooperate, if you help them take down Vincent's operation, they might offer immunity. But even if you serve time, it's better than staying trapped in this. Better than waiting for Vincent to either turn on you or get caught with you still involved." Marcus put his head in his hands. "I ruined everything." "No, you made bad choices, but they're not unfixable. We're going to fix them." We sat there for a long time, my son and I, working through the fear and shame and reality of what came next. Finally, Marcus looked up. "What do I do right now?" "Vincent expects me to do another job Monday. I'm supposed to pick up a BMW from some dealership parking lot. You do nothing. You tell Vincent you're sick. Food poisoning, flu, something that keeps you out of commission for a few days. Meanwhile, I'm calling the FBI Monday morning. We're setting up a meeting. By Tuesday, you'll be talking to federal agents. What if Vincent doesn't believe I'm sick? He will, because you're going to stay here at my house, starting right now. You're not going back to your apartment this weekend. You tell Sophia you're helping me with some house projects. We keep you visible here, documented. If Vincent has questions, you're with your father." Marcus nodded slowly. Okay, I can do that. Pack some clothes from your apartment. Tell Sophia you'll be here through Tuesday. We're going to get through this, Marcus. But you have to trust me and do exactly what I say." "I trust you, Dad." His voice broke again. "I'm sorry. For everything." I pulled him into a hug. He held on tight, like he'd done as a little boy after nightmares. "We'll fix it," I said. "Together." Monday morning, I called the FBI's Santa Ana office. Asked to speak to someone in the white-collar crime division. Was transferred 3 times before reaching Agent Sarah Kim. "Mr. Chun, how can I help you?" "I have information about a sophisticated car theft operation run by Vincent Kong. My son has been coerced into participating and is willing to cooperate fully in exchange for protection and consideration regarding charges." There was a pause. "Can you come to the office this afternoon?" 2 o'clock. Bring your son and any documentation you have. We'll be there. I hung up and turned to Marcus. He sat at my kitchen table, coffee untouched in front of him. He'd barely slept all weekend. Sophia had called twice asking when he was coming home. He'd told her Wednesday. One more lie in a long chain of lies. But this was the last one. They want to see us at 2, I said. FBI office in Santa Ana. Bring everything you have. Text from Trevor, any communication with Vincent, addresses of places you've been, descriptions of cars you've moved. Everything. Marcus pulled out his phone, started scrolling. I deleted most of it. Vincent told us to never keep records. What about cloud backup? Email? Anything that might have been automatically saved? He opened his email app, scrolled through sent messages. There's some stuff here. Addresses Vincent sent me. Meeting times. He showed me his phone. I took screenshots with my own device. Evidence preservation. Jerry Walsh had taught me that. Never rely on a single source. What about the cars themselves? Do you remember makes, models, Vince? Some of them. I took pictures of a few, just in case. He opened his photo gallery, scrolled past pictures of Sophia, dinners, normal life. Then a folder labeled work. Inside were photos of luxury vehicles. Mercedes, BMW, Audi, 2 Teslas. License plates visible in some shots. Send these to me. All of them. Right now. He did. My phone buzzed repeatedly as the images transferred. 12 cars total. 12 felonies. But also 12 pieces of evidence against Vincent's operation. At 1:30 p.m., we got in my Honda. Marcus sat in the passenger seat, leg bouncing nervously. The drive to Santa Ana took 40 minutes. Neither of us spoke much. What was there to say? We were about to walk into the FBI office and destroy what was left of Marcus's normal life. But normal had been an illusion for months. This was facing reality. Painful, terrifying reality. But reality nonetheless. The FBI building was downtown. Modern glass and concrete. Security checkpoint at the entrance. We showed ID, went through metal detectors, were escorted to the 3rd floor. Agent Sarah Kim met us in a conference room. She was 40-ish, professional suit, no-nonsense demeanor. Another agent joined her. Agent Robert Torres, older, gray at the temples, experienced eyes that had seen everything. Mr. Chun Marcus. Agent Kim gestured to chairs. Thank you for coming in. Let's start with what you know. I pulled out the files Jerry had prepared, laid them on a conference table. My son has been coerced into participating in a car theft operation run by Vincent Kahn. The operation is based at Pacific Imports and Exports in Costa Mesa. They steal high-end vehicles and ship them overseas. Marcus was recruited by Trevor Massaro approximately 5 months ago and has been unable to extract himself due to threats against himself and our family. Agent Torres picked up one of the files, studied the photos of Vincent. We know Vincent Kong. We've been watching his operation for 18 months. Marcus's head snapped up. You've been watching? We have surveillance on the warehouse. We know about the shipping containers. We know cars are going out, but we haven't been able to make a case stick. Vincent's too careful. Everything's laundered through legitimate business operations. Torres looked at Marcus. But if we have someone on the inside willing to testify, that changes things. What kind of charges are we looking at? I asked. For my son, Agent Kim opened a legal pad. Depends on his level of cooperation and what he's actually done. Marcus, walk us through your involvement. Every detail. Marcus took a shaky breath, then started talking. He spoke for 45 minutes straight. Every car he'd moved, every meeting with Vincent or Trevor, the threats, the payments, the escalating coercion. The agents took notes, asked clarifying questions, recorded everything with his permission. When he finished, Agent Kim looked at Agent Torres. Some silent communication passed between them. Here's what we can offer, Torres said. You were a wire. You continue working for Vincent for the next 2 weeks. We document everything. Deliveries, payments, conversations. You help us build an airtight case. In exchange, we recommend immunity from prosecution in exchange for your testimony. Immunity? Marcus repeated. You mean no charges? Federal immunity. State charges are a different matter, but we'll work with the DA's office. Given the coercion and your cooperation, I don't think they'll pursue anything. but I can't guarantee it. What about protection? I asked. If Vincent suspects Marcus is cooperating, we'll have agents nearby at all times. Marcus will have a panic button. If anything feels wrong, he activates it and we move in immediately. Kim leaned forward. But I'll be honest with you both. This is dangerous. Vincent Kong has hurt people before. If he discovers Marcus is working with us, it could get ugly. Marcus looked at me, fear in his eyes, but also something else. Determination, maybe. Or just exhaustion with running. I'll do it, he said. I'm tired of being scared. I want out. Then we start tomorrow, Torres said. Come back here at 9 a.m. We'll fit you with equipment and go over protocols. We left the FBI building at 4:30 p.m. The afternoon sun was harsh. Marcus shielded his eyes, looked lost. You okay? I asked as we walked to the car. I don't know. This is really happening. I'm going to be an FBI informant. Against people who've threatened to kill me. The agents will protect you. And in 2 weeks, it'll be over. Vincent will be in custody. You'll be free. Or I'll be dead. I stopped walking, grabbed his shoulder, forced him to look at me. You won't die. I won't let that happen. We come this far. We're finishing this. He nodded, but the fear didn't leave his eyes. That night, Marcus stayed at my house again, called Sophia, and told her he was helping me with a major work project through the end of the week. She was getting suspicious, but she didn't push. Not yet. Tuesday morning, we returned to the FBI office. Agent Kim took Marcus into a separate room. They fitted him with a wire. Small device that attached to his chest under his shirt. Nearly invisible. Microphone that could pick up conversations from 15 feet away. Test it, Kim said. Marcus spoke. His voice came through the speakers in the conference room where I waited with Torres. Clear, crisp audio. The wire runs on battery, Torres explained to me. 8-hour capacity. Marcus will need to activate it before any meeting with Vincent or his people. We'll be monitoring in real time. If we hear anything that indicates immediate danger, we move in. What if they search him? Find the wire? We've covered that. Marcus will tell them he's worried about being set up, that he wants insurance, that he's recording for his own protection. It's plausible enough. Guys in Vincent's operation are paranoid. Recording each other isn't unusual. Marcus emerged from the equipment room, touched his chest where the wire sat. It feels obvious. It's not, Kim assured him. You've got a t-shirt and hoodie over it. No one will see anything. Just act normal. Normal, right? Marcus laughed without humor. What's my first assignment? Vincent texted you last night about the BMW job. You were supposed to pick it up yesterday, but you called in sick. He rescheduled for today at 6 p.m. You're going to do that job exactly as planned. Except this time, we'll have units following you. We'll document the handoff, the location, everyone involved. Marcus pulled out his phone, showed them Vincent's text. BMW 750i, black, at dealership service lot in Irvine. Keys would be left in the glove compartment. Drive it to the warehouse by 7 p.m. That's a $100,000 car, I said. And it'll be Vincent's downfall, Torres replied. We arrest him in possession of a stolen vehicle, with recorded conversations of him ordering the theft, with financial records showing payment. That's federal charges. Interstate transport of stolen vehicles. Conspiracy. Wire fraud. He's looking at 15 to 20 years minimum. The plan was set. Marcus would do the job. FBI would follow and document. No arrest today. They needed multiple incidents to show pattern and enterprise. 2 weeks of evidence gathering. Then they'd move. At 5:30 p.m., Marcus left my house. Drove to Irvine in his own car. I followed at a distance, but FBI agents were the real tale. 3 vehicles, rotating positions. Professional surveillance. I parked across from the dealership service lot. Watched through binoculars Jerry had lent me. At 5:58 p.m., Marcus walked into the lot. Found the black BMW. Looked around casually. Got in. 30 seconds later, the BMW's lights came on. Marcus pulled out of the lot. Drove toward the freeway. I followed the FBI vehicles following him. The BMW headed to Costa Mesa. Same route Marcus had taken in my Tesla. At 6:47 p.m., it pulled into the warehouse parking lot. Marcus got out. Trevor met him at the door. They talked for maybe 2 minutes. Trevor handed Marcus cash. Marcus nodded and walked back to his own car. Simple transaction. Looked like nothing criminal at all, but the FBI had it all recorded. Marcus's wire had captured the conversation. Surveillance cameras had documented the handoff. Another piece of the case locked in place. This continued for 12 days. Marcus did 6 jobs total. Each one recorded. Each one documented. BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, 2 Audis, another Tesla. Total value, over $600,000. Each night, Marcus came back to my house. Exhausted, stressed, but determined. He was doing it, facing his fear, building the case that would free him. On day 8, something changed. Marcus arrived at the warehouse for a routine handoff. But instead of Trevor, Vincent himself was there. Marcus's voice through the wire carried tension. Vincent, hey, wasn't expecting you. Got some concerns, Marcus. Vincent's voice was smooth, educated. Trevor says you've been acting nervous, asking questions, wanted to know who's buying the cars, where they're going. Why the sudden curiosity? In the FBI surveillance van parked 2 blocks away, Agent Kim tensed. I was there with them listening. My heart pounded. Marcus kept his voice steady. No curiosity, just making conversation. Trevor and I are friends. We talk. Friends. Vincent chuckled. You know what happens to people who get too curious in this business, Marcus? I'm not curious. I just do what I'm told. Good. Keep it that way. Because I'd hate for anything to happen to your father. Nice house he's got. Paradise Valley. Real nice neighborhood. Be a shame if someone paid him a visit. The threat was clear. Direct. On recording. Agent Kim grabbed her radio. All units stand by. Subject just made a direct threat. Be ready to move. But Marcus handled it. That's not necessary, Vincent. I'm loyal. I do my jobs. No problems. Vincent studied him for a long moment, then nodded. All right, here's your payment. And Marcus? Don't make me regret trusting you. Marcus took the cash and left. Got in his car. Drove away calmly. But once he was 3 blocks from the warehouse, his voice came through the wire. Did you get that? Did you hear him threaten my dad? We got it, Kim said into the radio. Perfect audio. Direct threat. That's witness intimidation, coercion. Marcus, you did great. Head home. That night at my house, Marcus collapsed on the couch. He knows something's wrong. He doesn't know what, but he suspects. For more days, I said. Friday night, they're moving. They've got enough for arrest warrants. Vincent, Trevor, 2 other guys in the operation. Saturday morning, this is over. Marcus closed his eyes. I can't believe I made it this far. You're stronger than you think. Friday morning, Marcus met with the FBI one final time. They gave him a final assignment. Big delivery. Vincent wanted Marcus to pick up a Mercedes from a private seller in Newport Beach and drive it to the warehouse. 7 p.m. handoff. This is it, Torres said. We're executing warrants tonight. The moment you deliver that Mercedes, we move in. Vincent, Trevor, everyone at the warehouse gets arrested simultaneously. You'll be taken into custody too, for appearance, but you'll be released within an hour. Standard procedure to protect your cover in case anyone's watching. And then it's over? Marcus asked. Then it's over. At 6:30 p.m., I sat in the FBI surveillance van. Agent Kim had allowed it since I'd been instrumental in starting the investigation. 4 other vehicles were positioned around the warehouse. Tactical team ready to move. This was a coordinated federal operation, months in the making, coming to conclusion. Marcus's voice came through the speakers. I'm 5 minutes out. Mercedes is running smooth. No problems. Copy that, Kim responded. Proceed to delivery. All units stand by. I watched through the van's tinted windows. Dusk settling over the industrial area. The warehouse lit by security lights. Marcus pulled into the parking lot in a silver Mercedes S-Class. Got out. Walked toward the warehouse entrance. Vincent emerged. Trevor behind him. 2 other men I didn't recognize. All of them visible in the open parking lot. Perfect for surveillance cameras. That's good, Torres muttered, watching his monitor. All targets visible. Vincent approached Marcus. Handed him an envelope. Good work tonight. This one's worth a lot. Thanks, Marcus said. His voice was steady, but I could hear the underlying tension. He knew what was about to happen. You know, Marcus, Vincent said conversationally, I've been thinking about your situation. Your debt. Your father's money. I have a proposition for you. What kind of proposition? Your old man's got assets. House, business, retirement accounts. You're his only son. When he dies, you inherit everything. But why wait? Old people have accidents all the time. My blood went cold. Vincent was suggesting Marcus kill me. For inheritance money. Marcus's voice came through sharp. You want me to kill my father? I'm saying accidents happen. House fires. Car crashes. Falls downstairs. And when they do, insurance pays out. Estates get settled. A son gets his inheritance. And if that son had some debt to a business partner, well, he'd probably want to pay that off quickly. Say, $200,000? To show gratitude for all the opportunities he'd been given. Every law enforcement officer in that van had gone still. This wasn't just car theft anymore. This was conspiracy to commit murder. Solicitation. Federal charges that carried life sentences. I'm not killing my dad, Marcus said clearly. Vincent's expression changed. Hardened. Then maybe I need to reconsider our arrangement. Maybe you're not as useful as I thought. He gestured to the two men behind him. They started moving toward Marcus. All units move in now. Kim shouted into her radio. Suspect is in immediate danger. The parking lot erupted. Black SUVs roared in from 3 directions. FBI agents in tactical gear poured out. FBI, hands up, get on the ground. Vincent tried to run. Made it maybe 10 steps before 2 agents tackled him. Trevor froze, hands automatically going up. The other 2 men scattered, but were caught within seconds. Marcus stood in the middle of it all, hands raised, following the protocol they taught him. An agent grabbed him, put him in handcuffs, gently, and walked him to a separate vehicle. Appearances maintained. Within 5 minutes, all 4 suspects were in custody. Agents swarmed the warehouse. More vehicles arrived. Crime scene team, forensics, federal prosecutors. This was a major bust. Agent Kim turned to me. Mr. Chun, it's over. Vincent Kong is going away for a very long time. I watched them load Vincent into a federal vehicle. He was shouting something about lawyers, about rights. But the evidence was overwhelming. Recorded conversations. Stolen vehicles on the property. Conspiracy to commit murder on tape. His lawyers wouldn't save him. 2 hours later, Marcus was released from FBI custody. They took him to a different location, processed his statement, formally granted him immunity. At 10:30 p.m., I picked him up from the FBI office. He got in my car, still wearing the wire. An agent had to remove it. Marcus lifted his shirt. The agent carefully detached the device. You did an outstanding job, the agent said. Your testimony is going to put away a dangerous criminal. Marcus just nodded, exhausted beyond words. We drove home in silence. At the house, Marcus went straight to the guest room, collapsed on the bed, fully clothed. I heard him crying through the door. Not sad crying, relief crying. The crying of someone who'd been holding their breath for months and could finally exhale. I left him alone, went to my own room, sat on my bed in the dark. It was over. My son was safe. The threat was eliminated. Vincent Kong was in federal custody, facing charges that would keep him locked up for decades. But the damage wasn't undone. Marcus still had $47,000 in credit card debt. He'd still committed crimes, even if he had immunity. He'd still lied to me for months, stolen from me, betrayed my trust. Could we rebuild from that? I didn't know, but we had the chance to try. That was more than we'd had a week ago. 3 weeks later, I sat in federal court as Vincent Kong was arraigned on 17 charges. Conspiracy to transport stolen vehicles across state lines. Wire fraud, racketeering, witness intimidation, solicitation of murder. His bail was denied. He'd await trial in federal custody. Trevor Massaro took a plea deal. 15 years in exchange for testimony against Vincent. The other 2 men got similar deals. The operation was dismantled completely. Marcus testified before the grand jury. Spent 6 hours walking them through everything. His testimony was crucial. The federal prosecutor said it was the most comprehensive cooperation they'd ever received. 2 months after Vincent's arrest, Marcus came to my house. Sophia was with him. They'd been to counseling, working through the lies and secrets. She'd stayed with him, which was more than he deserved, he said. But she loved him, wanted to help him rebuild. Dad, Marcus said as we sat on my terrace, I need to tell you something. I waited. I'm filing for bankruptcy. The credit card debt, the money I owe for lawyer consultations, all of it. I'm wiping the slate clean and starting over. Sophia and I are moving to San Diego. Fresh start. Away from Trevor's influence. Away from everyone who knew about Vincent. Just us. That's good, I said. Smart decision. I want you to know I'm not asking you for money. Not now. Not ever again. I have to fix my life myself. I have to prove I can stand on my own. I looked at my son. He'd aged in the past few months. Lost weight. But his eyes were clearer than they'd been in years. No more fear. No more desperation. Just determination. I'm proud of you, I said. For facing this. For doing the hard thing. I'm sorry I stole from you. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry for all of it. I know. And I forgive you. He looked at me with surprise. Just like that. Just like that. You made mistakes. You own them. You fixed them. That's all any parent can ask. We sat in silence for a while. Then Marcus stood. We should go. Long drive to San Diego. We're meeting with an apartment complex at 4. I walked them to the door. Hug my son. Call me when you get there. I will. I watched them drive away. Marcus's old car, packed with their belongings. Starting over in a new city. Building a life on honest foundations. My phone buzzed. Text from Agent Kim. Verdict came in. Vincent Kahn guilty on all counts. Sentencing in 6 weeks, but looking at 25 to life. Your son's testimony was decisive. Thank you for your cooperation. I read it twice. 25 years to life. Vincent would die in prison. The man who'd threatened my son, threatened me, recruited desperate young people into criminal enterprise. Gone. Justice wasn't perfect. Marcus had still committed crimes. Still hurt people by delivering their stolen cars. Those victims didn't get their property back in most cases. The cars were already overseas, sold, gone. But the operation was destroyed. Vincent couldn't hurt anyone else. Marcus was free, and I had my son back. Not the son I'd lost 5 months ago when this started. A different son. Harder, wiser, more careful. But mine. I walked back to my terrace. The evening air was cooling. October in Southern California. The light golden on the hills. At 3:47 a.m., 3 months ago, my phone had buzzed with a security alert. Someone trying to break into my car. When I checked the footage, I'd recognized my son's face. In that moment, my world had cracked open. Everything I believed about Marcus, about our relationship, about my ability to protect my child, all of it shattered. But from that shattering came truth. Real truth, not comfortable illusions. My son wasn't perfect. Neither was I. But we'd faced the darkness together and survived it. The security system still monitored my driveway. The cameras still recorded every motion. But I slept better now. Not because my house was safer. Because my son was free. Because the lies were over. Because we'd chosen truth over comfort and survived the consequences. Vincent Kong had built an empire on coercion and fear. He'd trapped young people in cycles of crime and death. He'd thought he was untouchable, but he'd miscalculated. He'd threatened the wrong person's son, and that father had fought back. Not with violence, not with matching Vincent's criminality, but with patience, evidence, professional help, and love for a son who'd made terrible mistakes but deserved a second chance. 6 weeks later, Vincent was sentenced to 28 years in federal prison without possibility of parole. I didn't attend the sentencing. Marcus did. He wanted to face Vincent one last time. Wanted to look him in the eye and know it was over. That evening, Marcus called me. He didn't even look at me. When they read the sentence, he just stared straight ahead, like he couldn't believe it was real. How do you feel? I asked. Free, Marcus said. For the first time in months, completely free. We talked for an hour. About his new job in San Diego, about Sophia's interview at a marketing firm, about their small apartment near the beach. Normal things. Future things. Not past things. After we hung up, I made coffee and sat on my terrace watching the stars. The security camera's little red light blinked in the darkness. Recording. Watching. Protecting. But the real protection wasn't the technology. It was the choice I'd made that Tuesday morning after watching my son try to steal my car. The choice to investigate instead of ignore. To confront instead of enable. To love Marcus enough to let him face consequences and fight beside him through them. That 3:47 a.m. security alert had been the beginning of everything. The unraveling of lies, the discovery of truth, the long road to justice, and finally, redemption. My son had been trapped in darkness, and I pulled him out, not by fixing everything for him, but by refusing to look away, by demanding truth, by building a case, by protecting him the only way that mattered, by helping him save himself. The coffee was good. The night was quiet. And somewhere in San Diego, my son was sleeping peacefully for the first time in months. That was justice. Not perfect, not clean, but real. And it was enough. If you connected with this story, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share in the comments where you're watching from, and if you've ever had to make a difficult choice to protect someone you love. For more true stories like this one, check out the videos on the screen. Click one now to keep listening. Thank you for being here.